Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Lee Kara, and this is Unleash Your Light. Welcome. I hope you guys had a great weekend. My weekend was productive and uneventful, just like I like them, a nice peaceful weekend where I get some things done, but nothing too strong. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I love my Tuesdays to be here. We're going to talk about something very, very important today. I don't like to call it counseling, but I was talking to someone who was feeling kind of off and feeling kind of down. Good morning, Todd. Feeling kind of off, feeling kind of down. I had done a reading for her, like a rune reading, probably, like a month ago, right? And one of the things I said to her is that you've put aside a lot of the things that make you happy, like creative things that you love. Try to do things that you love. Try to do things that make you happy, right? So this time when I'm talking to her, she says, "Hi, Marcel." She says, I have been trying to do things that make me happy, but then I just get really sad about it and I stop. I'm like, what do you mean? Why does doing something that makes you happy make you sad? She says, well, because, I like to write, but then if I can't do a whole journal entry or write a whole poem or finish a song, then I get really sad about it. And I think, what's the point? Why did I start it if I can't finish it? I'm like, are you kidding? It's not finishing. That's the point. It's in the doing. It's in the act. It's in the journey, right? It's in the moving forward. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. But first I wanted to kind of reiterate and go back to what we've been talking about for the last month, right? So part of the action plan was how important it is for you to be loving yourself unconditionally. It's very easy for us, especially as if you want to call yourself a light worker or an empath or, being in this awakening, to look outwards and say, I love all of you and you're all so beautiful and da-da-da-da. It's so beautiful to do that. Hi, Rudolph. But then when you look inwards, we don't always think the same way that we speak outwardly, right? We often look inwards and without that same sense of wonder and awe and love that we point outwards at our fellow man, that hippie sense of love and light that we give to other people. When we turn it inwards, we start beating ourselves up. We look at where we are in life. We look at where we should be. We get full of the shoulda, woulda, couldas. I should have this. I should have already done that. Why don't I have this? I could have been this. If I only would have done that, We get stuck in the shoulda, woulda, coulda story. And then we beat ourselves up for what we aren't, instead of patting ourselves on the back for what we are. Instead of loving ourselves for where we are, mistakes and all. So I thought that was really important because it is the key. That's the magic key. I just gave y'all the answer. That's the answer. That's what makes the magic happen. Is when you can love yourself and accept yourself, warts and all. When you see a giant wart on the end of your nose and you go, you are the cutest little wart. Look at you. You got it. That's when the magic happens. No matter what that wart is, whether it's somebody you lied to, whether it's something bad that you did, whether it's a failure in your life, whether it's not doing what you think you should have done, whether it's not being the person that your family expected you to be or that you expected you to be, whether it's never forgiving for something that happened in the past, whether it's not letting go of the death of a family member, whatever it is, whatever you've been holding on to, whatever you've been, nurturing inside of you, whether it's self-hatred or self-loathing or self-sabotage. Hi, Diane. Whatever that is. Whatever it is that's inside of you that you've been letting kind of sit there and just kind of be inside of you. Love that. You love that. You accept that that's in you. But when you love that, it doesn't mean that you just say it's okay to be there. You love it. And as you love it and accept it, it starts to heal. See, that's where people make the mistake, is that they think that if they say it's okay to love the fact that they lie. Some people lie and they don't mean to lie. It just rolls off of their tongue. Lies to this one and lies to that one and lies to the one over there. They don't mean it. Some people are rude, and they're rude to everyone, and they don't realize it. Some people are mean to themselves, and they don't realize it, but they think it's okay, right? Just rolls off the tongue. Just rolls in the head, that conversation they have with themselves. They think if they say to themselves, I accept that I do this, and I love myself anyways. I accept that I do this, and I love myself anyways. That means that they're condoning that. That means that now they don't have to change. That now they can just be whatever they want to be, and who cares? No. See, once you start to love that, good morning, Julie. Once you start to accept that fault, if you want to call it a fault, once you accept that issue, and you put your arms around it and you give it a big hug. You go, you know what? You have been with me through thick and thin, lying, cheating, deceiving self. You were with me when we were 8 years old and we stole that piece of candy and told mommy we didn't. You were with me in middle school when we cheated on that test, lying, deceiving self. You were with me in high school when we jumped out the window and, snuck off to whatever it is. Once you put your arms around that and go, but I'm going to stand by you. I love you and I accept you as a part of myself. As soon as you accept that, it starts to heal. As soon as you accept that, it starts to change because you want to change it. You want to change. If you didn't want to change it, you wouldn't be so angry about it all the time. If you didn't want to change it, you wouldn't be pushing against it. You wouldn't be mad at yourself for it. You wouldn't be lashing out at other people about it, right? So as soon as you embrace it within yourself and give yourself a big hug, right? As soon as you say, I accept that you are a part of me and that I've been dragging you around with me for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, however many years you've had this piece of you that you've been fighting against. Stop fighting against it and pull it inwards and give it a big hug and say, you know what, we're going to work on this together. Because wherever you go, there you are. You take yourself with you. One of the things that I was saying to this young lady is that, you go from situation to situation, and they're not always good situations, And over and over and over again, you get into these situations with people and these, bad moments and arguments and all this kind of stuff. What is the common denominator in all of those things? You are. Because you brought you with you. You are always there. And so because you are there and you are bringing all of these pieces of you with you, you are bringing all of this junk with you, you are bringing all of these parts of yourself with you, it's about time that you give them all a hug. It's about time that you accept that these are all pieces of you. And if it's a piece of you that is causing you to act in a particular way. Hi, Jody. I'm sorry, you guys. Some of the comments I see and some of them I don't. Facebook is so wonky lately, y'all. Good morning, Nancy Lynn. As soon as you accept that those are pieces of you and that they are causing you sometimes to do things you don't want to do, but you give them a big hug anyways and you say, I love myself even with these parts, the healing starts right there and then. That's unconditional love for yourself. And that is super important. Those are the keys to the kingdom, y'all. If you believe that you are divine, and if you're here, then you believe that you're divine, then the thoughts, the negative thoughts that you're having about yourself can't exist in the same space as a belief that I am divine. And this is why loving yourself unconditionally is so important. Because when you love yourself unconditionally, what are you loving? You're loving that divine space inside of you. You're loving that divinity, that connection to the universe, the connection to the collective. And in loving the connection to the collective, you are actually loving every other person on the planet, right? Because it's one thing to love them outwardly, right? And to show them, I love you, in that way. But when you love them through the energetic connection that you share with them, that's a very different thing. And those of you who have played around with this a little bit, you know this. If you have felt that connection, even for 30 seconds, it will change your life. 30 seconds was enough for me to decide I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I am compelled to speak about this, and I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. I don't care how long I have to do this. This is now my life. This is now my mission. When you love yourself unconditionally, you are loving the divine part of you, and you are believing what it is saying to you every moment of every day. You are perfect. You are divine. You are amazing. And this mortal vessel that you have is merely a tool for you to learn this lesson, that you are perfect in your every imperfection, and that everything you go through is a lesson for you, and that every hardship is for you. So my action plan is to start to encourage this within ourselves, right? So the action plan is 3 minutes a day. We're going to be giving ourselves unconditional love. 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes is not a lot. Hi, Nori. 3 minutes is not a lot. So 3 minutes a day, love yourself unconditionally. And if you're not a person who's able to do this easily, it's really going to open your eyes. It's really going to open your eyes as to that inner dialogue that you have with yourself. Because if you can't do 3 minutes without saying something mean to yourself, pay attention. Pay attention. Because when you talk to yourself, who's answering you? You are. You're in charge of the conversation. You're in charge of the conversation, so change it. If you say something mean, correct yourself. No, F you. I'm beautiful. No, I don't care what you say. And it doesn't matter whether you believe that you're beautiful or not. That sounds horrible to say. But believe me, I looked in the mirror for many years and said F you every time I did. I looked in the mirror and hated myself. I was a cutter. I have the scars to prove it. I hated myself for years. And I looked in the mirror every day and I said F you as I'm putting on my makeup. I say this because I've been through this. And I'm given this message to say because I've been through this. You can say that you are beautiful whether you believe it or not at the front of your mind. Because the divine part of you knows that it is true. And so when you say to yourself how beautiful you are and how amazing you are, even if that voice says, you're a fucking liar, that is not the truth. The divine part of you says, yes, you are. You are beautiful. And eventually, when you keep doing this, the divine part overrules the conditioned part, the trained part. This is how it goes. So this is the action plan for you guys and for me. I'm able right now, oh, thank God, I'm able to stay in that state of like always being in that self, unconditional loving self, probably 40 to 50% of the day now. Not just 3 minutes, but like half of my waking hours, I'm able to stay in that peaceful, joyful, happy, I love myself kind of a place. So that's a good thing. I'm probably approaching 50-55% right now. So it's for me an amazing transformation because literally a couple years back I really hated myself. And I literally was a cutter right up until 42-ish. I'm 47 now. So right up until 5 years ago, I was a cutter. I hated myself. I hated myself. So that's the action plan. Now, why are we doing this? Why are we loving ourselves unconditionally? Above and beyond the fact that that's like the connection to divinity. Once you start doing that, you're going to start hearing divine. You're going to start connecting with that better. You're going to start being able to, I don't want to say control, but harness that energy, right? You're going to be able to understand your empath stuff if you're an empath. If you are a reader, you're going to start hearing the messages more clearly. Whatever your particular flavor of gift, because we all have our own gift in the awakening, right? We all have a purpose. We all have a gift. Whatever your particular flavor of gift is, it's going to come in so much more clearly when your unconditional love starts to shine, when you can unleash that, right? So, what we're going to do with that, I believe, and I believe this because it's the message that I was given, that our mortal vessels are the perfect broadcasters, right? All the time. The electricity in our brain is constantly broadcasting our thoughts out into the world, whether we want them to or not. Everybody knows someone who walks in the room and it's like sunshine. And everybody gets excited. Oh, yay, so-and-so is here, right? And everybody knows someone who walks in the room and everyone's like, oh, geez, her again, right? We all know someone like that. That's because they are broadcasting their energy and their thoughts all the time. They don't have to say a word. They just have to be, right? They just have to be. So just by being, they broadcast, okay? So the message that I was given is that as we learn to sit in unconditional love, we will also broadcast unconditional love, right? So when we broadcast unconditional love, we change the energy around us. Now, those of you that have been in the awakening for a minute, you recognize that you are able to change the energy in a room, right? Like in your home. If you change your emotion, if you change your energy, it affects those people around you, right? It shifts the energy of the people around you. So you know that this works. So my thought, what the message that they gave me is that the more that we can broadcast unconditional love through our human brain, the divine energy of unconditional love through our human brain, that is what's going to level up the collective, level up the mass consciousness, right? Because they are affected, even the ones who are unawakened are affected by our broadcasting, right? So we need to get it to a point that there are more of us broadcasting unconditional love, or enough of us broadcasting unconditional love, so that we can level up the mass consciousness and bring them up a level, right? So that's the goal. So the first action plan was to work on your unconditional love, 3 minutes a day. The second action plan for 2018 is to go sit in a public place and broadcast unconditional love. And if you can only do 3 minutes at a time, that's beautiful. It doesn't take much. Do it when you go to the grocery store. Just go stand in a crowded part of the grocery store, maybe by the checkouts. Just stand there inconspicuously and broadcast unconditional love. Go sit on a bench in the mall. Go to a hospital and sit in the lobby. Sit in a waiting area for, if you can do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Just broadcast unconditional love. My friend Mama Bear, Crystal, did this, right? So I'll tell you the story. I told the story 2 weeks ago. She goes to a park. She sits on a bench. There's nobody around. She sits on a bench and she's doing her little thing. She's got her eyes closed. She's holding a coffee. She kind of opens her eyes and there's this little old lady standing in front of her, right? And the lady looks at her and she goes, "You seem so peaceful. Can I sit down on the bench next to you?" So Crystal kind of looks at her and goes, yeah. Now in Crystal's mind, her thought is, "Lady, there's like 50 benches in this park. Why are you coming to sit next to me?" She was so shocked by this woman's appearance that she didn't even remember that she was broadcasting peace and love and unconditional and had attracted this woman with her energy, right? That's how startling it was to her that this woman was now standing in front of her. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting to see the effects of this sort of thing, So I'd love to hear your action plans. Everybody's a little bit different. Teresa was talking about it on one of her lives. She likes to go out and just chat with people about the state of the world, about what's going on, about how they feel about it. She likes to talk to people. That's her way of broadcasting her unconditional love. Maybe you have a different thing. Maybe you like to go places and actually like volunteer, or maybe you're involved in the schools, or whatever it is that you do. I would love to hear about your action plan and what you're doing. You know, I did a lot of work on myself this year. I did a lot of healing this year. When I watched the shows that I did from back when I first started doing this, I'm still saying the same words, but there's such a different energy about the words now, like behind the words. I don't know, I see the healed energy. So many of us on this journey are unhealed healers, but that's what gives us the incentive to go, right? Being unhealed doesn't mean that our message is invalid. It means that we understand the message even deeper, because our messages are for us first. It means that we've experienced and are experiencing these things that we're talking to you about. The things that I share and the things that I talk about are usually things that I'm going through. And I personally, not everyone in the awakening does this, not everyone on our channels do this. I personally talk to you about them. Good morning, Teresa. I share details, you know. This is why unhealed healers are often some of the best bringers of messages. But I see the transformation, you know, and I'm still in it. I'm still in it, y'all. So this coming year is going to be the year to move that transformation into the public. And I hope that you guys will do the same. So action plan, y'all. All right, so we'll get into the meat of what I want to talk about today. It is a fast-paced world, especially heading into the holidays. And we often put what we want on the back burner. We often put ourselves last, right? I'm going to take a little sip. We often put ourselves last. We often put ourselves at the back of the line. Happiness should not be measured. Your happiness should not be measured, especially not by completion of a project, especially not by you. And that sounds weird. Sounds weird to say. What do you mean I shouldn't measure my happiness? Because we are in a goal-based society, not gold with a D, but G-O-A-L. See, if I had graphics right now, I'd plunk the word goal across the screen. Because we live in a goal-based society, we often will put goals on our own happiness. So like I was telling you about this young lady that I was speaking with, I had told her during this reading, you know, you need to try to set some time aside to do the things that you love. So the time that she set aside had a list of goals. I need to write a journal article every day. I need to finish a poem. Each time that I do, I need to finish a song. She had this list of goals for her happiness time. And if she didn't finish the goal, then she wasn't happy. And so then she would set aside her happiness time, and then she would look at her list of happiness goals and go, why bother? I'm never going to get those. I'm never going to finish a whole poem. What's the point? Why am I even trying? And she would get upset, and she would not even try. And I'm like, do you hear what you're saying? Those are things to make you happy. And you made a list, and an unattainable list at that. I said, you can't put a finish time on creativity. You can't say, I'm going to write a full poem every time I write. The thing that makes you happy makes you happy. I told her about, I like to paint. It's fun. I enjoy painting. I do okay at it. I'm not like a professional painter, but I do all right. I've watched some Bob Ross, you know. I can replicate some Bob Ross. I like to do some abstract stuff, you know. But I also like the ritual of getting out all the paints and setting up my area. And it takes me, 15, 20 minutes to do all that. And I'm all set up and I'm surrounded by my paints and my canvases and blah, blah, blah. And I might pull out the canvas and look at it and do 3 strokes on the canvas and then go, I'm done. It doesn't matter if I finished the painting. Was I happy setting up the paints? Yes. Was I happy making those 3 strokes? Yes. And that was the point. The point is in the happiness itself, not in the finished product, not even in the act of doing. If it just made me happy pulling out the paints and smelling them, I don't mean like huffing them, but if you use oil paints, there's something about the smell of the oil paints that can just change your mood, can change the way you feel, If you like music, but you feel like, every time that I listen to music, I have to have this, I have to have that, blah, 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 you're putting conditions on your happiness. It has to be this particular song, and I have to listen for 15 minutes, and I have to get my heart rate up every time I listen. No, don't put conditions and expectations on your happiness. If it makes you happy for 30 seconds, then that's a good thing. Embrace it. Doesn't matter whether you get to finish the song. Doesn't matter if you get to finish the poem. Doesn't matter if you write 2 words. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you get to pull out your pen and make your little bullet points. If you're a person who's into all the little bullet point journaling and your pens and your colored pens, you drag it all out and you make all your little doodads and then you do nothing with it. Did it make you happy to do all that? Yes. Then that's your happiness. It doesn't matter if you finish. You're doing it to make yourself happy. You cannot put a qualifier on your own happiness. It's like playing a sport and saying, I'm only going to enjoy it if I win. And yes, there are people who say that. I only enjoy if I win. But to me, that's wasted effort. If you only enjoy a sport when you win, then you only enjoy it, half the time. You know what I'm saying? Like movies. I enjoy bad movies and good movies. And I will watch a bad movie all the way to the end. Man, I'm in for $1, in for $100. What is it? In for a penny, in for a pound. I stick it out. Because a bad movie can be just as fun as a good movie. I don't care. If it makes me happy, then I go for it. Your happiness is your business. And whatever makes you happy, who cares if the world says, you should finish all of this. What makes you happy should be a nice, neat area. No, screw that. You do what makes you happy in the way it makes you happy for as long or as short a time as what makes you happy. If it makes you happy to sing 3 notes of a song, sing 3 notes of a song and be happy. If it makes you happy to sing the same 3 notes over and over again for 20 minutes, do it. Just be happy while you're doing it. If you only know the chorus of a song, just sing the chorus over and over again. If that makes you happy, do it. Happiness does not need to be qualified or quantified. You do whatever the hell you want to do if it makes you happy. Don't put an expectation on it. Don't put a goal list. Don't put I have to do this for 20 minutes so I can be happy. No. If you can find happiness 10 seconds at a time, man, grab that. Grab that. The lives that we live and the days that we have and the thoughts that are always going through our minds, no matter how awakened you are, sometimes it makes those moments of happiness seem very few and far between. And I know many people, and I talked about this on the show a couple weeks ago about a friend of mine, a different friend, that I was talking to, and I asked her, what does a happy life look like for you? She couldn't answer me. She had no idea. And she was like, well, with or without him. Like, it doesn't matter. Just tell me what a happy life looks like to you. And she had no answer. And that was incredibly sad to me. I've known this girl since 6th grade. And that's a really long time, y'all, because I'm old. 1981 I met her. And she couldn't tell me what a happy life looked like for her. She couldn't even tell me what activities she does anymore that makes her happy. It was really sad, you know? It was really sad. And then she said, I said, well, think about it for a little while, you know, and try to figure that out. And she said, I don't even have time to figure out what a happy life looks like. And that just made me cry. Hi, Elin. Hi, Anna. And that really just sent me over the edge. Then I cried for her. You don't even have time to think about what a happy life looks like? Number one, you shouldn't have to think that hard about what a happy life looks like for you. If you have to think that hard, then you are very far from happiness, and you need to rethink your life. It was a very, very sad thing. I love this girl, and she's living a life that she hates. She's a misery all the time. And I don't want you guys to be there. I want you guys to take the time to figure out what happiness looks like to you. You know, if you can find your happiness, I do something that's, to me, it makes me happy. Especially driving in the car. That's one of those things that people get really agitated with, right? Driving in the car. They get really angry, they get rage, they're thinking about a list of all the things they have to do, they're thinking about work, they're thinking about this. You know what I do when I'm in the car? First of all, I'm driving. But second of all, I look at the trees, I look at the sky, I think, oh, that's so pretty. Look at how nice that is. Oh, I'm so grateful right now. This is so lovely. And it doesn't matter if I'm on a highway or if I'm sitting in traffic. Oh, look at the colors on that car. Isn't that pretty? I just find something joyful for 10 seconds. And I smile about it. And I give myself a moment to just be stupid, silly, happy. That's it. It's so simple. It's so simple that it will make you feel like, why the hell haven't I been doing this all along? You know? Like I've been driving around being pissed off and angry and frustrated all the time. Why didn't I just do this? I'm literally so happy driving around. And I was terrified to drive. Literally before March, I had barely driven at all in almost 2 years. I have some mobility issues. I don't get around so good. I have problems with my feet. And I was terrified to drive, y'all. But when Vin left and I was here with just me and the boy, I have to drive. I drive him to school every day. Right now I drive him 20 minutes to school, almost 25 minutes to school, and then 25 minutes home. And then I do it again in the afternoon. This is something I didn't think I would be able to do. But I faced my fear, and I faced my anxiety, and I just look around, and I smile, and I make myself happy while I'm doing it, and it helps me, and it adds to my joy. And I think to myself how lucky I am. Oh, I love living here. Oh, this is so beautiful. Look at that, isn't that nice? Oh, I like this song a lot. I just find every tiny little thing that I can be grateful for. And I'd be grateful for it, and I'd be happy, because I'm choosing to do that. And I could sit around and be mad. My life's not perfect. I have a lot of weird, horrible, terrible crap going on in my life, literally right now. Literally this very moment. And yet, I choose happiness. I choose to focus on those things that will bring me joy and not focus on those things that will bring me down. It doesn't mean those things don't exist. It just means I don't give them power over me emotionally. I deal with them like this, from a distance. I deal with them in a logical way that addresses them without allowing them to drag me into the quicksand. Good morning, Mama Bear. Happiness is a choice, and you take it where you can find it. Don't qualify it. Don't quantify it. Don't put conditions on it. Well, if I can get a good score in this game, then I'll be happy that I played it. No! Enjoy the game while you're playing it. Who cares if you get a good score? Enjoy what you're painting while you're painting it. Who cares how it looks when it comes out? Enjoy the song while you're writing it. Who cares if anyone ever hears it? Don't put conditions on your happiness. Don't put qualifiers on your joy. It's a choice, and you take those moments of happiness wherever you can get them. This is your life. This is your life, and you are in charge of the conversation in your head, of the moments that you have, of the joy that you find, and of the happiness that you get to experience. Choose happy moments, no matter how small, even if it's 10 seconds of happiness. Even if you have to put pictures on your phone that will pop up and make you laugh. If you need a soundtrack of happy songs, whatever you need to do to be a little bit happy during your day, do it. You're worth it. Invest in your divinity. Invest in your happiness. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to stop this. Okay, so remember, 3 minutes every day of unconditional love, you guys. Love yourself. Be nice to yourself for 3 minutes. I know it's not easy, but it's only 3 minutes. And it's going to change you. It's going to transform you, and you're going to be really surprised, I promise, all right? And I want to hear about your action plans. If you're going to go out in public, if you're going to do something new, if you're going to, take a leap of faith, whatever it is that you're going to do, I want to hear all about it, okay? I love you guys so much. You can always find me in my group, Unleash Your Light, my page, Unleash Your Light. You can go friend me, Lee Cara. I have lots of room for friends. You can find me on my website, unleashyourlight.org. You can get a copy of my book there, also called Unleash Your Light. Are you seeing a pattern here, y'all? I love you guys so much. And we're coming up on the holidays, you guys. So remember all those things I said before Thanksgiving about dealing with your family? They still apply. They still apply, okay? Take some time for you. Don't just react. Take a moment, take a bite, take a breath, take a smoke, take a toke, right? Step back from the situation. Don't react to the same stimuli you always do, right? Break the patterns with your family. Understand, empathize, forgive them. And pay attention to those things that you react to. Make notes, because later, those are the spots you can go back and heal. Right? All right, I love you guys. Have a great day. Love you. Bye-bye.